Namaste guys, Rajesh here for Namaste Tech, and in this video I'm going to answer a question that has been confusing a lot of you folks. Between the Redmi 3S Prime and the 2GB RAM variant of the Redmi Note 3, which handset should you buy? Now while this may seem like a tough decision, the answer is actually pretty simple. Are you a heavy gamer? Do you play a lot of games? What is your budget? These are just a few questions that you need to answer. Answer them and your decision will be pretty simple. So let's start. What is your budget first? Is it rupees 10,000? Do you think you can extend it to rupees 12,000? If so, extend it and buy the 3GB RAM variant of the Redmi Note 3. There's absolutely no doubt that the 3GB RAM variant of the Redmi Note 3 is significantly better than the Redmi 3S Prime. There's a huge performance difference between the Redmi Note 3 and the Redmi 3S Prime, and if you can, then you should absolutely and totally go for the 3GB RAM variant of the Redmi Note 3. However, if your budget is between rupees 9,000 to 10,000 and you're confused between the Redmi 3S Prime and the Redmi Note 3, hear me out. If you're a heavy gamer who plays a lot of games like Asphalt 8, Nova 3, then buy the Redmi Note 3. I've already done a speed test between the two handsets and the Redmi Note 3 was significantly faster than the Prime, a difference of almost 30 seconds. This is something that is going to be easily noticeable in daily usage. While having 2GB of RAM on the Redmi Note 3 is going to be a slight bottleneck, you can at least play heavy games on the handset. On the Redmi 3S Prime though, while it can run heavy games like Asphalt 8 just fine, it takes a lot of time to load such games and applications. Between the Redmi Note 3 and the 3S Prime, in my opinion, there's absolutely no doubt that you should just go for the 2GB RAM variant of the Redmi Note 3, if you're a heavy gamer that is. However, if you're someone who wants a small phone with a great battery life, doesn't care about the camera, then you should go for the Redmi 3S Prime. The handset has a small 5-inch display, terrific battery life, and its camera is somewhat average. Barring the battery life, if you compare the two handsets, that is the Redmi 3S Prime and the 2GB RAM variant of the Redmi Note 3, the Note 3 is superior in almost every scenario. It has a bigger and a higher resolution display. It has a more powerful Snapdragon hexa-core chipset. And while yes, it does pack in less RAM, the raw horsepower of the Snapdragon 650 chipset is something that the Redmi 3S Prime, despite having 3GB of RAM, cannot make up. And it's not exactly like the 2GB RAM variant of the Redmi Note 3 is a very poor multitasker. You can still multitask between 4 to 5 applications, so it's not really an issue. Plus, with the upcoming MIUI 8 update, the multitasking performance of the 2GB RAM variant of the Redmi Note 3 should improve a fair bit. Then you also get a slightly better camera, and while the battery life of the 3S Prime is arguably better than the Redmi Note 3, the Note 3's battery life is not pedestrian exactly. It can easily last you well over 1.5 to 2 days on a single charge. So finally, here's my clear-cut answer on which handset should you buy, the Redmi 3S Prime or the Redmi Note 3. If your budget is rupees 10,000 and you play a lot of heavy games, buy the Redmi Note 3. If you're not a heavy gamer, if you don't play games though and just use the phone for normal browsing, WhatsApp, etc., and most importantly, do not mind a small display and an average camera, then go for the Redmi 3S Prime. It is an excellent phone for people who simply do not care about gaming or other things. Just like the Redmi Note 3, the 3S Prime is also a game changer in its segment, and you will absolutely love using it. That's it for this video guys. That was my 2 cents on whether you should buy the Redmi 3S Prime or the Redmi Note 3.